Hey, I'm Kevin. I do this channel for fun and for profit. This is all about the Warriors. Kevin Looney, episode 31. The Warriors didn't close Memphis with finesse. They closed Memphis by sending Kevin Looney back into the crowd and asking him to bring the basketball back. I'm Kevin. This is Sports Lab 100, and today's episode is Warrior 31, Kevin Looney. I'm doing this channel because it's free and I like sports. I'm not an entrepreneur or an entertainer of any kind, but I like research and I care a great deal about these players, these teams, and sports history in general. Each series is the 100 best, most impactful players in franchise history. Now for the NBA, I used player efficiency rating and minutes played. It rewards quality and survival. So Kevin Looney's whole career is basically quality plus survival, with very little glamour attached. This is Warrior 31. The game is May 13th, 2022, Western Conference Semifinals, Game 6. Memphis is at Golden State, and the Warriors lead the series 3-2. They're at Chase Center with the chance to end it, but the mood isn't clean. Golden State they were humiliated in Game 5. Memphis won by 39 points in Game 5. And it felt worse than that for long stretches. The Grizzlies were younger, bigger, meaner, and even without Ja Morant, they made the Warriors look old and loose. Morant had a knee injury and was doubtful for the rest of the playoffs, which should have made Memphis easier to deal with. Instead, the Grizzlies turned into a swarm. Tyus Jones stabilized them. Jaren Jackson Jr. protected the rim. Desmond Bane and Dillon Brooks attacked. They had enough bodies and enough anger to make Golden State uncomfortable. The Warriors were still the Warriors, but this version was not the 2017 spaceship. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green were trying to climb back into the finals after 2 lost seasons. Klay had missed 2.5 years. Steph had carried bad teams and injured teams. Draymond was still around, but the league around him had gotten longer and nastier. Jordan Poole was emerging, Andrew Wiggins was becoming a championship wing, and Looney was the quiet piece that made the chaos levitate. Kevin Grant Looney was born February 6, 1996, in Milwaukee. He wasn't supposed to become this kind of NBA player, because early on, he looked like a different kind of prospect. At Hamilton High School, he was a major recruit, a McDonald's All-American, and Wisconsin's Mr. Basketball. He went to UCLA and immediately showed the thing that would survive every change in his career. The ball found him. He was 6'9", long, smart, and productive. As a freshman, he led the country's freshmen in double-doubles and looked like a first-round forward with room to grow. The Warriors took him 30th overall in 2015. Golden State was already a champion, already loaded, and already thinking differently. Looney wasn't drafted to save anything. He was drafted to be developed. Then the injuries arrived. Hip surgery, rehab, time in Santa Cruz, limited NBA minutes. The body that made him interesting also made his early career fragile. That could have been the story. Late first round pick, joins a dynasty and never gets healthy and disappears. But no. Looney became one of the strangest success stories of the Warriors era. He didn't become a star, and he never became something rarer on a team full of stars. He was a player who never needed the game to explain itself to him. He screened, he switched, he rebounded, he guarded guards well enough, big's just physically enough, and space just intelligently enough, he stopped chasing the version of himself that people imagined on draft night and became the version that championship teams actually need. And offensive rebounds are rude. That's the stat. They're not elegant or democratic. They're not even polite. An offensive rebound says, great defensive possession. Shame if I make you do it again. It's psychological damage with a box score column. For a jump shooting team like Golden State, offensive rebounds are especially cruel because they turn missed threes and longer possessions. Longer possessions into panic, and panic into Klay Thompson somehow being open again. Looney didn't just rebound in this game, he made Memphis play defense until their legs started negotiating. Golden State started Looney in Game 6, and that was not a random lineup note. After the Game 5 beating, the veterans wanted him out there. Draymond and Steph knew what kind of game this had become, and it wasn't going to be solved by getting smaller and cuter. It needed grown man possessions. Looney responded immediately. He had 11 rebounds in the first quarter. 11! Not in the half, not in the game, in the first quarter. He later said he didn't even know it until Wiggins told him. That's perfect Looney. He wasn't chasing the number. He was chasing the ball again and again until the number became ridiculous. The game itself stayed tied for 3 quarters. Golden State led 30-26 after 1. They were up 53-51 at halftime. And at the end of the third, it was 78-77. It's not a blowout. It's a pressure chamber. Klay Thompson brought the mythology. Game 6 Klay showed up with 30 points and 8 threes. That sounds fake unless you've watched Klay Thompson do Klay Thompson things for a decade. Steph Curry had 29 and 6 threes. Draymond Green was everywhere. He had 14 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists. Wiggins added 18, including a huge fourth quarter shot. But Looney gave the Warriors extra possessions all night long. He finished with 4 points, 22 rebounds, and 11 of them were off the offensive glass. He also had 5 assists. 4 points. He was one of the most important players on the floor. That's the Looney paradox. You can glance at the scoring column and miss the whole game. Memphis fought. Dillon Brooks scored. Desmond Bane scored. The Grizzlies defended like a team that believed it already taken the Warriors' pride once and could do it again. But in the fourth quarter, Golden State finally broke them. The Warriors won the quarter 32-19. The last stretch had that familiar Warriors feeling. A close game, becoming a math problem too quickly. 3, stop, rebound, 3, another rebound, another possession, another chance to breathe for Golden State, and another chance to suffer for Memphis. Warriors 110, Grizzlies 96. Series over 4-2. Golden State back to the Western Conference Finals. And after the game, Looney talked like himself. He said the Warriors had been embarrassed in Game 5, pushed around, bullied on the boards, and that they wanted to set a tone. That's the whole episode. They were embarrassed. So they started the least embarrassing player on the roster. The guy who never over-dribbles, never grandstands, and never forgets his job. And never looks offended because his job isn't glamorous enough. He also talked about how much it meant that Steph and Draymond wanted him in the starting lineup. That's not sentimental fluff. On a dynasty team, trust is currency. Looney had earned enough of that. In a closeout game, the franchise pillars looked at the situation and said, "Give us Loon." The Warriors season after this game became the final great proof of the dynasty. They beat Dallas in 5 games in the Western Conference Finals. Then they beat Boston in 6 to win the 2022 NBA Championship. Steph finally got his Finals MVP. Klay completed the comeback. Draymond got another ring. Wiggins played some of the best basketball of his life. And Looney was the starting center on a championship team. For Memphis, this was the end of the 2021-22 season, but not the end of the rise. The Grizzlies won 56 games. They were young, nasty, confident, and convinced they were coming. Now, in some ways, they were. In other ways, the series became a warning. The playoffs don't just reward athleticism and volume. They reward composure. They reward counters. They reward players like Kevin Looney, who can turn a possession into a fist fight without ever looking like he started anything. Looney's career after 2022 kept adding layers. He re-signed with Golden State that summer. In 22-23, he played all 82 games and had the best rebounding season of his career. In the 2023 playoffs against Sacramento, he became a rebounding monster all over again. 20 boards in Game 2, 22 in Game 5, 21 in Game 7. That Kings series made this Memphis game look less like a fluke and more like a warning label. Eventually his role shrank. The league changed, the Warriors changed. By 2025, Looney's decade in Golden State ended when he signed with New Orleans. But his Warriors legacy is secure. 3 championships, 10 seasons. A bridge was not the face of the dynasty. It wasn't the Durant super team years, the 2022 resurrection. He was one of its load-bearing walls. Next up is Astro 56 Yordan Alvarez, November 5th, 2022. Game 6 of the World Series. Phillies and Astros. The moment is too big, the swing is too violent, and the ball goes 450 feet to dead center. Like it's somewhere better to be. But that's for next time. For today, that was Warrior 31, and it belonged to Kevin Looney, the man who scored 4 points in a closeout game and still changed everything. He didn't take the game over with highlights. He took it over with possession after possession after possession.